responsibility that comes when we speak of what this particular legislation aims to achieve. So the presentation will just give you situational. Yeah. Parang pwede ako mag-joke. Iritan ko si ma'am, can you go back in there? But kidding aside, a lot of people will be wondering if this presentation will contain particular figures on annual targets, the annual work plan being envisioned under the EBITDA itself. I might be disappointing you on that. But towards the end of this slide, you will see an important year, you will see an important figure that I hope would be enough to convince our partners elsewhere in the world that come to the Philippines, we are very, very serious in making EV the mainstream and the main vehicle of transportation here in the Philippines. The presentation outline actually will cover three particular important parts. Most of the situational aspects you are very much aware. It will focus on the road transport situation. Okay. Our technical issues are really catching up to us. Tomorrow, if I'm here, wala na. So the situation in terms of the number of EVs on the road. Next would be just a fresh reminder on what the roles and responsibilities are of the various government agencies and our stakeholders. And finally, after much thought, for those who are part of our ride shop from the November 7 to 11, yes, I'm confirming the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Technical Working Group will be conducting ride shop in south of Manila with the aim of coming up with a draft comprehensive roadmap for the electric vehicle industry that we will subject to public consultations. If I start talking, the presentation, the visuals will So, in terms of the situation, the number of electric vehicles right now in the country is under 10,000 units. These are based on figures from our colleagues from the Land Transportation Authority or organization, LTO, or office. So that's the first slide. The second slide will tell you, which I will just share to our organizers. I do have a more snazzy AVP. It's a 10-minute AVP that lists to you exactly what EBITDA is all about, what Trevi is all about. But the bigger question, wala kasing impact pag wala yung slides, di ba? Ayan na ba? Wala pa rin. Yeah, apparently it's my fault pala the presentation section. Okay. So the main message that we'd like to send in the fair is number one. On the part for the EV and EV charging station component, we are moving in the direction of what our ASEAN peers are adopting. So there's a common standard that will be part of further issuance upon the release of the ferry. That's the first item that I'd like to confirm. The second item I'd like to confirm with respect to the EV charging stations is that to disabuse the idea that it is regulated, EV charging fees, let me repeat, it's there. Thank you so much. Okay. So this is the outline I already gave you, but let me just pause here for the time being. So, in more than 10 years, this is what we've accomplished even without the incentives. Masyado naman mag-is ako na ba mag-control. And sige na nga. Parang gusto nyo pumunta na sa exciting part. So it's very clear this is the figures I'm citing. These are as of end of 2021. So 8,593 EVs out of a total of more than 13 million vehicles, road transport vehicles. This is how far we've come from 10 years of doing this EV summit. So the numbers that you're going to see what's included in the law itself of at least 5%, this is the at least 5% that we're trying to hit. And right now we are so below that. We are at 0.1%. So it's not even 1%, less than that. And majority of the vehicles, if you're taking a look, are motorcycles and tricycles. So the challenge for us, in fact, out of these 7,502 figures, 3,000 of which came from the DOE's market transformation to the introduction of energy efficient electric tricycle program. So we have a lot of catching up to do, and this is what the law aims to address. In terms of EV charging stations, the next slide would actually show you the numbers that we monitor as of today. So we have 276, if I'm not mistaken. This is as of these consist of AC, DC, and battery swapping stations. Slow charger. Hopefully, our participants is there. We do have images for this. What we're seeing is that majority of the EV charging stations are located here in the zone. The detailed list is published in the DOE website. I'm also pleased to announce that towards the first quarter of 2021, through the assistance of the USAID Energy Secure Philippines, we will be launching the online repository of all EV industry-related materials across all of government. That will be your one-stop destination for all information, materials, and relevant issuances with respect to the EV industry. So this is as of today, October 2022. Those who are asking where are the battery swapping stations, these are primarily located in the Visayas and in Mindanao. Ayan. This is the brief version of the EBITDA IRR. DOE is the lead agency in charge of EV and EV charging stations. We're also the one tasked to come up with the comprehensive roadmap for the electric vehicle industry for ferry. But we are not doing this alone. It is an entire and whole of government effort. We are joined by our good friends from the Department of Transportation, the Energy Regulatory Commission, the Department of Trade and Industries, our local government units, Public Works and Highways, Science and Technology, NEDA, and the DENR. So these are the pertinent points. A lot of you, well, the DOE has been on the receiving end of how come the definition of electric vehicle is in this manner. I would candidly say that the definition is provided by law and we will implement it as such. In terms of classification, it does provide for classifications for EV charging stations. And it recognizes the future and integration of our electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging stations to the grid with the provision. What our goal is, and you will be seeing this in the ferry, is that the DOE will be launching a program along with our stakeholders to have renewable energy to predominantly, if not fully, power our electric vehicles through 2040. I do not have the nice name for it right now, but in a nutshell, EV will be powered by RE in the Philippines in the coming years. In terms of EVCS or EV charging station providers, these must undergo an accreditation process. After the issuance of the ferry, we will expect the DOE to be hitting the ground running and providing with a more streamlined way of getting the accreditations to the EV charging stations. So what are the salient points which we hope would be enough? Because the fiscal incentives apparently are not yet fully there under this law. The big question is, how would the mandatory EV share for corporate and government fleets operate? I think these are the numbers that a lot of you would like to see. And I would be disappointing you at this point. Those numbers will be done during the public consultations for the Fed. What I can confirm, however, is that the targets of at least 5% will not happen at the same time. It will be characterized per sector and per vehicle type. And I can confirm that insofar as the government is concerned, the government will shift to EVs faster than our private sector firms. And we do hope to get the support of Congress to fund that direction. In terms of the dedicated parking slots for EVs, particularly for the private sector, this is another frequently asked question during our public consultations. This will be covered by a separate issuance. Note that the primary guide for this would be on the practical application of this. Current EV trends that we will be discussing in the preview during the public consultations indicate that majority of the charging for ordinary users, probably those attending this conference, happens at the home or the residence or at the point of destination. And what we are seeing is that the requirements for fast charging, for quick charging, will be primarily done by the public transport sector, our logistics sector partners, and for those doing distance driving. In terms of fiscal incentives, I think great show of hands who has read the latest issuance from the MMDA regarding the exemption from the Unified Vehicle Reduction Scheme for EVs. Show of hands, please. One done. So I am pleased to tell you that in our EVIDA PWG meeting earlier this week, the DOTR family, particularly the LTO, has come into an agreement that with the issuance of the ferry, there will be an amendment in terms of the rules for the licensing. Directionally, the EV plates would be color green, and subject to confirmation on the technical requirements, EV plates would have the words EV in the plate to make it easier for our enforcers to distinguish between an EV and a non-EV. So two things would be the predominant features of this non-fiscal incentives. You have to change your old plate. If you are an existing EV owner, it's not automatic that you will be exempted. You have to bring your plate to the LTO, get a new plate that's color green and may contain the words EV, then you will get the exemption from the new VVRP. To ensure that you will not encounter any difficulties or any other LG would tell you, because we are here in Metro Manila, in the National Capital Region, wherein traffic enforcers is by jurisdiction. After the issuance of the ferry, there will be a joint issuance coming from the Transportation Group, MMDA, and the DILG, or the Interior and Local Government Department, to guide our local government units with respect to various ordinances that they may have with respect to unified vehicle volume reduction. The other thing that's being asked of late is, when are we going to see the 0% for the import tariff that's currently under discussion? I'm sorry again, I cannot give you, we're not part of the Committee on Tariff-Related Matters. But what I can confirm is that there has been a recommendation from the technical working group on that matter, and the goal is to bring it at zero tariff. For those of you who are in the know, right now, vehicles coming from the ASEAN are already at 0%. But there is a distinction with other countries of origin, such as those coming from South Korea, Japan, China, and the rest of the world. The removal or putting it at 0% is the goal to bring in the necessary number of EVs in compliance with the targets that we will be setting. We are still hopeful that that particular component will be issued before the end of the year. In terms of the processing times, I am actively soliciting our private sector peers here of their experience in terms of bringing in, getting permits with respect to your EV charging station parts and components. Because one of the major highlights of our IRR is the need to streamline these processes, to bring it to the 3-7-20 or shorter processing time. So this is what we intend to do. So please feel free to write us and tell us your experience on what needs or how do we improve this particular process. I'm not going to highlight the portions on the prohibited tax and fines and penalties. For those of you who have been listening to me for the longest time on energy efficiency, the goal of laws and regulations is compliance. We do not want you to be fined. We do not want to impose any penalties on you. What we'd like you to do is to comply. Ayan na, ready na. So after that brief overview, so what will you be expecting from government under the PREMI? The 4 components, I mentioned to you some of the features already for the EV and EV charging stations. We are working hard to bring this to fore with our colleagues from the DOTR. One of the prime movers again in terms of the shift for this road and food would be our colleagues from the DOTR. What I can confirm with you is that those who have done their modernization under the PUVMP, they will not be further burdened. This will be clarified in the issuances once it is made public or subjected to public consultations. With respect to the manufacturing, I will not be preempting the presentation later on of our very hardworking Undersecretary from the Department of Philippines, Tita Aldaba. For the research and development component, we'd like to inform you that the Department of Science and Technology family has been very active in this space towards energy storage, developing systems to make EV more intelligent, whether it's in deployment or charging. So you can expect that component to be on board. However, with respect to the human resource side, earlier this morning, we recognized the efforts being done by TESDA. This is where I think we'd like to discuss some more with the sector, as the shift to EV may result into some need to retool our existing personnel. So in terms of the existing numbers of certificates for those operating under the interim EV charging station guidelines, again, these are the figures, edition 15 and 272. Ayan na. Yeah, I'll let it sink in because there's only one figure there that I think most people, I hope it would be enough to trigger the expected demand. Yes, that is what we are going to be presenting in the public consultation for the PREMI. All new vehicles sold by 2040 will be 100% EV. Yeah. Wala palang pa. I hope this is enough. It's not as ambitious as our colleagues elsewhere in the world, but based on the numbers, based on the analysis that we've done, and hopefully our stakeholders will agree, this might be a reasonable time to set it at 100%. Tama ba? Would you agree? I think we're a bit too late at 100% at 2040. But this is what we have in terms of numbers. We want to make sure that we have the number of units available. We want to make sure that the costs are on point for us. So we encourage our peers, our stakeholders to join us in this conversation. The PREMI will be a conversation with you, our stakeholders, because the PREMI is our roadmap for an electric and e-mobility future. Government will not do this alone. We would be leading you. But in the meantime, what can you expect in the short term? Of course, they work on the policies and regulations. Similar to what we've done for renewable energy, government will try to push for policies and regulations that will give preferential benefit for EV use and manufacturing. Parang RE lang. Kaya nga, our message, it's not a good name yet, RE will be powering our EV because that is the sustainable future. And we hope to bring in the necessary investments to make that happen in the medium term. And hopefully with very active participation from our colleagues from the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines and their ASEAN counterparts, we will be having those capabilities in terms of manufacturing towards the medium term. But again, the big figure of this slide is that 100% EV sales by 2040. And I think that would end my presentation. And because the other components here in this room will be subject of your other panelists or presenters. Like on the EV incentive strategy, I will not preempt again our colleagues from the DTI on this. On green routes, there will be a discussion from our transportation group, again, the panel here. And in terms of trends, on why we are confident that we can be at 100% EV by 2040, this next session will be handling that. So again, thank you for your attention. And I hope that you will be helping us achieve this roadmap. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Director Patrick Aquino. May I invite you to join me here? Yes, you get your own share because of that wonderful news that you shared. Thank you also for those slides. We're happy they worked, so it could be clearly shared with all of us. Apologies earlier on as I gave you a doctor title right away. But seriously speaking, working it on it. Okay. Seriously speaking though, this was good news to hear. Oh, okay, there's a request. The clap was not hard enough to encourage more. The question that I'm supposed to actually really ask, by the way, to all our guests here and even online, start throwing in your questions or just raise your hand so that you can be approached and we will give you the mic later on for the question. Okay, maybe I'll go down hard a bit, okay, because of all the good news that you've given. Given these incentives, I think it's just right to ask, yes, they are good news, but are they enough? Wow, do I ask the tough questions or what? Okay,
I think the audience, do you think EVs need more incentives? So I think the answer of the room speaks. The official government line, of course, is that we just came from a pandemic. The macroeconomic fundamentals are right there. But on a personal note, I agree, we need more incentives for EVs. Whatever capacity that I can, with the help of our colleagues from the stakeholders and IBA, let's push to get those time bound further incentives to bring in the capacity to hold and
ano yung panibagong video? Available na siya, pero pareho po sila.
So yung 7 kilowatt dito po, ang mabit for fast charge.
Give like related researches, conducted, give like deployment and utilization study.
For this one, if may kaya pa ako kayakin sa mga purpose. Hindi nga lang, this one is mag-harvest na lang.
So the reason I really want this car is electric vehicle at 2.5%. Again, you can run it on purely electric. That's what I love about it. It's a hybrid, but you can run it on pure electric. That is no gas whatsoever for 100 kilometers a day. So you get the full benefit of an electric car, no gas consumption, environmentally friendly, no motor vibration, no sound, and the speed of an electric vehicle, right? I punch it. Look at that. Look how fast that is. No gas consumption at all.
Charging stations across areas and highways.
Anyone, please raise your hand. Congratulations, give a round of applause. Not hearing stories like this.
Dili pa mo. Dili na technical, more business side ya.
Yes, po. Alay, dito.
Ayala.
Ay, saka may electric fan.
Ay, tanong mo.
Ano pinili? Wala na. Lang pala sila kanina.